Hello all and welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today I'm going to be giving you a run through of one of my favourite games, Acquire, believe it or not, from 1964. And this is a game of savvy planning and corporate conquest, brought to you by Avalon Hill Games. And you can't see the design on it, but it is Sid Saction. It's a 3 to 6 player game, and as I've mentioned in the overview I did last week, one of the older versions does play 2 to 6 as well. Typically this game will take you anywhere from an hour up to an hour and a half, I would say. Now I'm going to give you a more in-depth look at the game today. I'm on my own, so I'm going to play out 3-player game with just me to hopefully give you a better understanding of how this one plays. If you want a video that's shorter and gives you just an overview, then go and check my video on Acquire, the overview, which is about 15 minutes long, something like that. So here we go then. So to begin with, each player would have £6,000, which I've already done. I've already got the 6 tiles out on these little stands here, and these are all kept secret. Now, I probably wouldn't recommend playing this game with 3. I'd usually go for that 4, 5, 6. The more players, the better in this one. You've got all the shares at the side. Now, this will all make sense as I go through. I'm not going to blab on about all the rules. I'll just kind of explain as I go on. Reference sheet, the bank here, and we've got the tiles. Now, to begin with, a player would choose a tile, and you can see on this board you've got all the numbers as the columns, and the rows are the letters from A to I. So the first player, let's just say this guy here, it's got 8 I. So you put that on the board. Where are we? 8 and I down there. And this is how you determine starting player. So these guys in the middle, 11A, there, and then 6B. There we are. And basically it says the player who pulled out closest to row A, in this case 11A, they would be starting player. And if there's a tie, if someone had 6A, then it's the closest to 1A. And these tiles get to stay on the board, which is a little bit of starting setup. So the middle player's going first. Now what are they going to do on their go? Now just to give you an overview, you are tycoons in the hotel industry. And as the box said, it's a savvy planning and corporate conquest. You're trying to grow these hotel chains once you get them on the board, and that'll make sense shortly. You're trying to get shares in various hotel chains that are on the board, and you're trying to buy at the right time to have majorities, because if you have majorities, when they get taken over, you get money. A minority is basically second place. And the only way to sell shares in this game is when you get taken over. So it's all about kind of trying to get taken over at the right time, so you get the right profit lines. And if you don't ever get taken over, then you're not really going to have a chance to sell any shares until the end of the game. And that's what you really want to do in this game. You want to be buying and selling when you can to keep that money in your pot, so you can end up sort of getting into some of the majorities that are called safe, and hopefully in one of the most valuable chains at the end to maybe clinch the win. So these guys are first, and the first thing you do on your turn is you're going to place a tile. So we can see here, I haven't even had a look at these yet, 9H, so I'd probably sort them out in order of some sorts. And I'm basically looking at these 3 tiles and wondering, have I got anything close? So 9H is what, 03, that's close to that one. 5A, 12C, 8D, 2C. So there's quite a bit of searching around. Now this would be a lot quicker if each player had charge of their own one, because I'm trying to manage 3 players here, which is pretty difficult. So I can't see any connections. Now what I mean by that is, say if we did have 8H, as soon as you form 2 tiles in one spot, you get to place one of these hotel chains of your choice, and they kind of go from valuable to least valuable, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but it'll make sense in a minute. So if there was 2, you could put it down, you've created a hotel chain. Hopefully we'll come to that in a minute. So let's just say they have to put something down if they can. If you can never put anything down, for example, some of these chains are safe and there's no things left, you can replenish all these. Let's just not spend too much time about it and go with 3G. So we plonk that down. We then get to buy up to 3 shares of 3 different companies which are on the board. So there's none out there at the moment, so we can't do that. So we then, the final part of our turn is we replenish 10E over to these guys. So we have got 8G, that's close to there, 6D, 5C, 3B, 2F. Now I might make some glaring mistakes in this game because As I say, let's just go 6E. Spread out a bit. They can't buy any shares yet. Trust me, there'll be more action in a minute once hotel chains get going. So these guys have got 1F. We've got 12G, 12F as well. So they've got 2 already. They could plonk only 1 down at the moment. 2A, 12B, and 3C. So it's important to note, because obviously no one knows what anyone else has got. These guys can, if they say had 3F and they just didn't want to play it yet, they've got some information, insider information as to what can disrupt this competitive landscape. So let's just go with 12G then. Knock that down, they can't buy anything, and then they replenish over to these guys. So they're literally just going to put anything down for now, just to give you, speed this up, otherwise I'll be here for like 2 hours playing this. Right, what have we got? 6D. Here we go, 6D. So these guys have formed a hotel chain. So they get to choose one of these. Now what's the differences then? So on this reference sheet, you can see all the colours, and it kind of shows you that when you have a certain number of shares, you look across, you can see the buy and sell price, so gradually gets more expensive, and then you can see the majorities and minorities as they get paid out. So for example, Tower and Continental, their 2-share mark already starts at 400, whereas you can see the other colours progressively go down. So it doesn't matter too much, but it does in terms of your liquidity of your funds. So if you start going for the more valuable hotel chains, you're going to be having to pay more for less shares in them. So a bit of variety, but let's say we go with Saxon then. So we put Saxon down over these two and cover them up. And the person who formed that, which was these guys, they get a free share, which in this case is Saxon, which is information which is normally kept secret, but I'm going to reveal it in this video, so it helps me out as I can figure things out. So they've had the free share. They now get to buy up to 3 shares on any hotel chain form, which in this case is Saxon. So we would look, so they're going to buy 3 Saxon. Why not? They want to start getting majority. So it's a size of 2 tiles. So we look along Saxon, we go along. It's going to cost them £200, I believe, to buy each share. So we're going to buy 3 shares at 600, 400 change, 3 shares. Now, they've got a total of 4 shares, and I think there's 25, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 25 shares, so you can see that 13 is the majority holding. So we've got 4 shares, great, they then replenish, and that is their go, done. Over to these guys. So what we got again? We got 1F. No. So they were going to go with 12F, if we can recall, and they've equally formed a chain as well. So let's just say they go with red, which is Continental. They form a chain. They can now buy 3 shares in any company out there, orange as well or red. And before I forget, they do get their free share, which again would be secret normally. And they're going to buy, so Continental in this case would cost them, you can see Continental at 2, because that's the size of the number of tiles. It's 400 a share, rather than Saxon, which is 200. Now, they might be thinking, do I want to get a bit of both? I want to keep my majority here. So maybe they buy 1 of these for 400, and then 2 of those for 400, so 200 each. So they're going to do that. So they got 400 for those, 400 for that, is 800. And there's a bit of number crunching as to watching what your opponents are buying and trying to figure out, have I got the majority or second place? Because that'll become key here. So they replenish. So you can see it's quite streamlined turns. These guys, what we got then? We got 9H. Is that any use? No. 5A, 12C, 8D. So basically I'm looking at the board quickly, just to see if there's any connections that they can make chains or add on to anything. So there's nothing amazing out there. They're just going to put 1H down and replenish. These guys, so we got 8G, 1E, 5C, no, 3B, 2F. Ooh, 2F is close. 5I, let's just put 5I for a laugh. Okay, over to these guys. I'm probably just going to have to say all the numbers again. 1F, 9E. Let's just go 1F and not think too much about it, but it's so much easier when you've only got one lot, well, yourself to think about. You can really strategize as to what. Oh, I have actually been forgetting that they could have been buying shares. So where were we? These, I can't even remember what I was now, but you can buy shares even if you don't make a connection. So these guys, I think it was these guys actually, they put something down. They would have had a chance to buy into these two companies, and let's do that now. So I'm going back to this chap here, and let's just say they buy 3 SID section, which is still 2 in length, so that's going to cost them 600. And there we are, 400 change. And I believe these guys went after, so they also feel like, yeah, we're going to go for some section as well. So that's 3 shares, and that's going to be 600. There's a lot of money passing in this game. Paper money as well, which some people aren't fond of. So now, yeah, we're back here. Did I just play a tile? I think I did. I think I went for 1F, didn't I? These guys are going to go... I believe you don't have to go for 3. Maybe you could just go for 1, or you don't even need any. So they're going to go for Continental, which I think was 400, if I can remember. So let's do that one, 600. Right, so we're back up to where we should be. So these guys, have they got anything juicy? So we got 9H, 5A, 12C, 8D, 8D, 2, nothing, 6I. Oh, 6I makes one. So these guys can get involved as well. 6I, choose one of these. Let's just go for Worldwide. So they get a free share in Worldwide. And they get to buy up to 3 shares. They're going to go heavy on Worldwide because they want to try and get that majority. So it's 2 shares. Worldwide's the first column. That's going to be 200 a pop. So 600 to pay. So you can see the board's already getting fuller. And replenish. So hopefully we'll have some interesting connections soon. What have we got? 8G, 1E. 1E makes one. Let's just go for that. So they are going to build green. Get some free share in green. They're equally going to buy 3 shares in green. So green's in this second column too, which is 300 a pop. So 3 shares is 900. And that's 3 in green. Okay, so let's have a look. These guys are at replenish. And over to these guys. So, ooh, look at this one. 1G, I'm just going to do it without thinking too much. So 1G can go here. Now that doesn't do anything majorly exciting. I think I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself. But it grows this company now, which is interesting because these guys haven't currently got any green shares. So they could just decide to buy, put another tile somewhere else. Oh, 9E. Let's do that. So 9E. And they create a hotel chain, let's say yellow. They get a free yellow one. They buy green because they know on their next turn, if they put this down, they've bought the shares because they're currently size 2 at 300. But once they put this down, there'll be 4 tiles. So that means it's going to cost other people 500 to buy the shares, which gives them a good head start. Plus, if that hotel does get taken over, let's just say another hotel gets close, then they're going to get paid obviously more because it's a bigger hotel chain. So that's what we're going to do then. So what are we going to buy? We're going to buy 3 green, and they are valued at 300 a pop. So that's 900, 1,100 change. And there we have it. Replenish. Over to these guys. So 9H5A, 12C. If you actually join the video right now, you'd think I'm a madman just saying out numbers and letters. 8D, 2C, and 10I. So nothing amazing. Let's just put this 10I. You never know, it might connect something. And then 8B's come up. And they get to buy 3 shares as well. Are they going to go for green? So that you don't want to spend all your money, because you're only going to get money back if you actually get a merger, which I haven't even touched on yet. We haven't had the opportunity. So let's say they're going to buy, so they're in purple, and they might be thinking, right, no one else has actually bought purple, so I'm going to take this opportunity maybe to get some more orange. So 3 shares in orange, a still size 2, it's going to be 200 each at 600. That's that one. Over to these guys. Right, were they going to do anything? 8G. Nope. 12D. 5C. 3B. 2F. 2F. And H. 6H. So 6H increases purple, but they haven't got any purple, so probably don't want to help them out. But 2F adds to the greens, and they do have greens. So are they going to buy into it first by putting another tile somewhere else and then bulking it up? Or are they just going to bulk it up because they don't want anyone else to get into it? Let's just say they bulk it up. Now, it'd be silly to bulk it up and then buy shares, unless I'm missing something obvious, but they've done that, and they're going to buy some more orange. Well, how many orange have they got? Let's see if they're close. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 more gets them to 10. So 1, 2, 3. It's still 200 a pop. So that's 600. And replenish. And back to these guys, and they're quite happy that that player did that, because they're going to put 1G down, and you can see their shares now have increased in value by a lot. They are going to buy, so they could have delayed that, I guess, and carried on buying in green because it's cheap and just kept that aside. And they're probably thinking, let's get a few more yellows. They've only got the one in yellow, and let's go again. You could get a mixture of them as well. So 3 shares in yellow is 300 a pop, so 900. 100 change, replenish. Here we go. 9H, 5A, 5A, 9H, 12C. 8D, so there's not really a lot going on here. 2C, 8B. So because obviously you're only drawing out one at a time, can slow things down a little bit. But as I say, with more players, with 5 or 6 players, by the time it gets back to you after a round, there's 5 or 6 more tiles out there, which gives you, you know, a lot more potential. 8G, 12D, 12D, where's that one? 5C, 3B, not a fun. I'm just going to... Well, they've got 6G and 6H. Let's run with that. Ah, interesting. So, let's go with 6G. And they know they've got 6H, which connects that one. So they're going to buy 3 shares in purple, which are currently 200 a pop. So 600 for that. 500, and they are very happy with that because they're suddenly going to increase it. Now if 6F comes out, I don't think anyone else has got 6F. We'd actually have our first merger. Over to these guys. Now they've seen that this player might be up to something sneaky. They're going to do something with orange, they're going to do something with purple, and they're thinking, right, I've got a few orange, do I need to bulk that up? Maybe I'll get in purple because I think something's going to happen, and they're going to do that. I haven't actually done this one yet. Let's just plonk out 2. Ooh, they were going to do something sneaky as well, weren't they? What was it? 11D. 7H on my line. Well, they got 7H and 8H, so they could start working on something themselves. No, I don't think they had anything amazing. So those 2 could come in handy. They could do hotel. Ooh, that would be interesting. Let's do that. So we're going to go 8H, and they are going to build a hotel chain. Let's go with blue, and they get a free blue share, but they're still going to buy 3 purples at a value of 200 each, so 600. Oh, we could actually have something interesting happening in a second, folks. So they've paid for that. Replenish. 6F has come out. So I'm just going to put these down here just to remind me that there's a lot of stuff that can happen right now. I think it was that one as well. I'm actually getting excited by playing this game on my own. 9H. Oh, so they could extend blues. 5A, 12C, 8D, 2. So nothing massive going on. 5. Let's just put 5A down. Maybe they're slightly out of contention. Replenish too early, because that would give away information before they buy the shares. So let's buy the shares, and they think something's going down here, so they're going to buy 3 blue, and blue are 300 each. So 2 tiles large, 300 a pop. So they're going to spend 900 on blue, because everyone's thinking something's going to kick off here. Right then, so this player obviously doesn't have a clue what this player's got, and they're thinking, right, 6H, they bought purples, and they're going to do it. Well, actually, it doesn't do anything, it just grows it. So they've grown purples, and they're now going to buy blues, because they might think that if blue gets taken over, it gives them the chance to sell those blue shares. So that's a great example. So 3 blues at 2 a pop is 300 each. So that's 900. Replenish. So this player here has a key decision now. So they can either... they've got all the control, and they don't even have to do it just yet. If I was this player, you can see they've got 7H, which could go there, and this would create a merger. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it, but I'm going to show you what would happen. So what would happen is the larger company, which has got 4 tiles in this case, would merge and take over, or acquire, as the name of the game's called, this American, which is only 2. Now, if they did that, all the shares, everyone would add up their shares for blue, and whoever had the most shares at that moment would get paid out the majority, depending on how large it is, which is 2. But does this player have enough shares in blue to think that's worthwhile? They've only got 1 share in blue, so they're not exactly making big bucks. But if they get into purple now, they're suddenly increasing the value of it from 4 tiles to 7 tiles. But is that a little bit premature in the game? Now they also have 6F, which kind of does the same thing, but connects it to oranges. So maybe they'd want to connect this at first and then connect that one. So have they got enough going on in orange? Again, they've only got 2 shares. Now, if I was this player, I would most likely not put those 2 down and start buying into them. So say if I just put 2A down, I would then buy into these, so that when I control the timing of that merger, unless someone else had 7I or something else that managed to do it before you, I'm in a great position to make profits. But for the sake of this video, I want to keep it short and show you what happens. So I'm going to actually just play it 6F. So you put it slightly slanted just to show, because that tile isn't included as part of the adding up so far. So we're going to do a merger just for you guys. 6F. So everyone in orange, because it's only 2 large versus 4 large, so that is going to get taken over by Worldwide Hotel. Everyone who's got orange shares sees what they've got. So these guys have only got 2. So again, it's not my best strategic move. These guys have got 2, 4, 6. What if these guys might be very... Oh, they went for something like 10, I think it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there we go, 10. 10, 6, and 2. And these guys are the majority. You look at how large that hotel is. Saxon is 2. You go across. The majority is going to get a bonus of 2,000 from the bank. Wicked. So these guys get 2 grand. These guys get the minority, which in this case is 1,000. And as I say, these guys who initiated the merger don't actually get anything as yet. So yeah, bad move. And you then get a choice of 3 things. You can either, so all these guys have got this stock, but this one's been taken over, goes back here, and this worldwide company is now, well, larger and more valuable. So 3 decisions are, and you do it in order of the player who did the merger, I believe. So let's start them. Are they going to keep the shares? You don't do anything, you just keep them. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, you can see at the moment that hotel chain isn't even out there. But if it comes out in the future, let's just say any player puts one that connects this up and they choose that one, these have a head start, which is great. It means they, don't have to think about buying into them quickly. They've only got a maximum of 3 they can buy each turn. So they're already in them. Or option 2, you can trade these in at a 2-to-1 ratio there and then only for the hotel that took over you. So 2 for 1, they would trade them 2 and they would get 1 in worldwide, which you can see is a good move because that's now valued at what, 2, 4, 6, 7 worldwide at 7s in this 6 to 10 bracket, which is 600 a share. And they were worth what, 200 a pop, so 400, 600, you've made 200. Or what was the other one? I think the last option was you could just sell them, which would be at the 200 a pop price, so they get 400. But the key difference is, actually I've accidentally put it on there, the key difference is you get the money now. So if you're tight on money, you might want that 400 quid. Whereas if you're not too fussed and you want to go for a bit of end game, because that's how you're going to get the big money, you might just decide to do the 2-to-1. So you're getting a share rather than money, which we're going to do in that case. So we're going to do a 2-to-1. So that's your 3 options then. And this player here, they've got what, 6 did we say? Let's have a look at their money. So they could sell it for 1,200. They could get 3 shares in this one, or they could keep them. Now it's early days. They might just think, let's keep them. Oh, I don't know, Let's go purple. They're going to do the same. And as you say, because you've seen what the opponent before you did, gives you a little bit of wriggle room to decide, well, if they didn't get purple and they didn't get purple, these guys are like, well, maybe I will get purple, or maybe, I'll keep cash around me, so you can sort of play what your opponent's doing. Now, these guys are 10 shares. That's £1,000 they can get right now. Or they can go into purple like these guys. Now near the end of the game, you probably really wouldn't want to keep hold of these, because if the game end triggers, which I'll go through shortly, and these aren't on the board, you ain't going to get squat for your shares. I think let's just show you what to do. So we're going to sell those 10. It wasn't 1,000 like I said, it's 2,000 because it's 200 a pop. So they're going to get £2,000 from the bank, which keeps them in the cash to buy other stuff. And there we are. So let's replenish over to these guys, and we've got 9H. 9H adds up blue, 9B, 12C, 8D, 2C, 8B. So they've got 8B and 8D. Let's not overthink it. 9H, they're going to increase blue. They're going to buy 3 shares. Now, buying in purple, if they try and buy it now, it's going to cost him, what did we say it was? 600 a share. So they might want to buy in companies around it, hoping that they actually get taken over by purple, and then they get more cash. So in that case, they're going to buy yellow shares because they're still small and cheap. So they bought 3 yellows at 900. Replenish over to these guys, and they have got HE, so again they can increase blue, 12D, 5C, 3B, 10B, let's see if there's anything exciting here, 7D. They've got a few purples, they're just going to put 7D and increase the value of that, and they're going to buy 3 shares in yellow as well, because they've got a good hunch that that one's going to get bought out. And replenish 7C. So these guys have 7H. So let's do another merger for you though. I don't know whether it's beneficial for them or not. I'm not going to overthink it, but just to show you. So another merge is happening. The bigger one with the most tiles is taken over blue in this case, and everyone with blue tiles shows how many they have got. So these guys have got just the one. What have these guys got? They've got 3, and these guys have equally got 3. Oh, that's a good example then. So 3-3, it's a joint majority and minority, so I believe you add them up. So in this case, you ignore that, it's a diagonal, so it's a size of 3 for America. You look at America, let me show you closer up. So 3, you go along. So in this case, they're joint, so 4 plus the 2 is 6, divided by 2, so 3,000 each, and this person gets nothing. So that's literally just your bonus money. You haven't even sold or decided what you're going to do with the shares yet. Now you go on to, again, those 3 choices, and I believe it was this player who initiated it. So they can't trade it for 2 to 1 because they've only got 1. Are they going to hold it or are they going to sell it? They're going to sell it because they want a bit of cash, and it was valued at, what did we say? It was valued at 400 each. So they're going to get 400, not 4,000. So they've just sold it. These guys, they may be considering a 2 to 1 for these. So they get 1 purple, and they're just going to sell this for 400. These guys equally had the same. Maybe they're just going to sell all of them. 4 for 3, or should I say 3 for 400 is 1,200. So you can see simple choices, but can really sway your game. And that's being connected. America's now back here. Now, let's add it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you have a hotel chain that is 11 or more, it is declared as safe. And what that means is that this can't be taken over now. So if yellow became a monster as well at 15 or 11 or plus, those two can't merge. And if you get to a point where all of these hotel chains are safe, so they're all 11 or more, the game is ended if someone declares it. Equally, if one of the hotel chains gets to a size of 41 or more, which is usually the case, that equally you can declare the end of the game. If you get to a point where you can't actually put any tiles down, then you get to replenish your hand, etc, etc. So that's how the game end is triggered. And whilst I'm on that subject, what would happen at the end of the game is you would go through each hotel chain that is on the board. You would work out who has the majority, who has the minority. You'd get paid out your bonus money. You would then sell all your stock in those different hotel chains you own. You get paid out the stock price. There's a lot of maths and a lot of money moving hands. You then add up all the money from that and money you've acquired throughout the game, and whoever has the most money wins. Now, one thing to note is if you have a load of shares in a chain which isn't on the board, you will get squat for them, which is 0. Now, I'm going to leave it there, folks. So that is showed you a couple of mergers, and you can see, if this game was to evolve a bit further on, people would hopefully get in yellow and hopefully get taken over by these guys so they can get paid out. If you go heavy early on with, say if Tower came out and Tower was here and it got big and you started blowing your money and you were buying like £600-700 a share, and let's just say you had 100 quid left, you're then pretty limited as to what you want to do, and it can be quite frustrating because let's just say worldwide here was Tower and you'd invested all your money in Tower. That's great for the end of the game because hopefully your chain is going to be 41 in size and you're going to get paid 1,200 a share, which could be a winning strategy. But throughout the game, you might not have a fat lot to do because this isn't ever going to sell because it's safe and you've only got £100 to do, well, not a fat lot. So that's one thing you really need to be mindful. Now, this version of the game is cheap and cheerful. As you can see, it's just cardboard pieces. Doesn't, this is like a Scrabble type grid, but it really is, you still get the same entertainment and same strategy and fun out of it. You can get the older version, which I would love to get a copy of, which has got these like miniature hotel chains on them, but a really, really nice game, and it lives up to the name, folks. A savvy planning and corporate conquest game. So there we are, folks.